to open this fantastic event today. It's our absolute pleasure to have you with us today to unveil a recent product, which is a marketplace for IP owners to utilize their intangible assets. We believe that it's not just a product, but an indication of our commitment to create innovative solutions for solving real-life challenges based on our unique blockchain technology, ChromaWay. To give you a little history about the project, let me start with EPSI, the European Blockchain Service Infrastructure, which is a joint initiative by European Commission and European Blockchain Partnership started in 2020 to develop a blockchain infrastructure to support cross-border services between governments, businesses, and citizens within the EU. And the RBN Eco is our new relational blockchain ecosystem by ChromaWay, built in collaboration with EPSI to power next-gen dApps like the ones that we have built so far, DPP, IPR, to serve secure and reliable solutions. And if we go to the next slide, I'm happy to announce our partnership with Digip. In the context of IPR use case, we joined forces and with Digip, a leading trademark service company, to build a more valuable and applicable solution based on their trademark market needs. We are partners to disrupt the traditional processes in the benefit of the users and different players and actors in this space. And so let's dive right and discover what IPR Marketplace has to offer. I want to invite Viktor, Henrik, and Alexandra to take the stage and join the chat. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farad, and welcome everyone. I'll take a little lead here before we jump into the discussion together with Henrik and Viktor. My name is Alexandra Andhov, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Copenhagen, and someone who is very much intrigued by technology and the law and how sometimes technology can support and solve certain legal issues. And that is also the reason why I'm very much infatuated by this project, to reflect to what extent we can help support protecting the IP, even more so in the age of the AI that is, sometimes maybe fighting us when it comes to the IP. Anyhow, welcome everyone to our fireside chat, a conversation really between the two leading CEOs in the realms of intellectual property and then blockchain technology. And as we know that in today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, the protection and management of intellectual property have become more complex and crucial than ever before. And at the same time, we're at a certain point of an evolution in blockchain technology that has the potential to revolutionize how we handle digital ownership, security, and transparency. Our distinguished CEOs are at the front of these dynamic sectors. On one side, we have the CEO of the pioneering IP marketplace company, Digip, a platform that has become instrumental in management of intellectual property rights in Europe. And on the other, we have a CEO of a cutting-edge blockchain company driving innovations that go well beyond cryptocurrency and crypto assets, and drive into the very own fabric of digital transaction and security. And together we will explore how and to what extent blockchain technology is poised to transform the future of IP rights and IP protection. We will delve into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, the good and the bad, and the potentials and the limitations. And what we kind of assume was a little bit of somewhere between 15 to 20-minute discussion that can be followed up with your questions, because this is about building the community and really hearing from you, and also your questions and inquiries. So without further ado, I would like to ask maybe Henrik to do a little bit of introduction of himself and ChromaWay, and then we'll go to Viktor afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Henrik Hjelte. I'm one of the co-founders of ChromaWay. I'm the Swedish co-founder, but we also have one guy from Ukraine and one from Israel. And we met online using email and started this company already in 2014. But then our CTO, Alex, had already worked on an open source product in 2012 or so when he made the first protocol in the world where you can make user-created tokens on the Bitcoin network, which was the only blockchain at the time. So and that sort of became the foundation of this industry almost. So we started the company in 2014, and during this time, both as an entrepreneur and working in the field, we've been sort of learning about IP rights. So, I mean, first of all, we have quite a lot of trademarks that we filed for, and we have acquired companies with trademarks and needed to make sure that we've done the transfer in the right way. We applied for a patent and all that process, and we've been talking to entrepreneurs that have ideas for reforming this system, particularly around patents before that, and now we're working together with Digip on this super exciting project. So that's my background into trademarks more as a user or creator.
Should I go, Alexandra?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
all right, thank you. All right, I'm Viktor. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digip. So Digip is a AI-powered trademark management service. So basically, the founding team comes from the trademark industry, and we realized that trademarking is not so easy for the end user when it's a business owner that manages trademarks globally. So we've created an automated solution that reduces a lot of cost and create transparency. And it's also a big driver, I would say, for Digip as a company to democratize trademark knowledge and also access to trademarking services. So when the opportunity came to partner with ChromaWay on blockchain technology, we felt that is the right move for the future, because we think blockchain is about transparency and access to information and data and stuff like that. So we are very excited to be on this webinar and on the road to integrating trademark information and data into the blockchain with ChromaWay and RBN Echo.
Thank you both. Okay, so then I'll just start with the question, and Viktor, I'll start with you. Given the work that you have done within the trademark industry and ultimately using automation and AI, what are the most significant challenges that you perceive currently that protect for the protection of the intellectual property in general? Maybe that's the first question, right? In the realm of the ChatGPT and the AI as such, and whether you see the potential for blockchain technology to address potentially some of these issues.
Yeah, it's I think it's a multifaceted question. I think generally building a digital intellectual property or trademarking business, the major challenge is access to data. So if you want to provide any good service to anyone today, basically you need to have information about who owns a trademark, who owns a patent, and so on, because that information is critical to basically help a new user or a new company that wants to trademark understand, can we actually do this or not? And that information is gated and protected and so on. And I think one of the advantages of Digip is that we have access. We've created access to that data, but that is not super easy, and it's not just something that you can do overnight, basically. And that is a challenge that we have ongoing, and that is a core part of our business. And then when you start thinking about blockchain, I almost have to zoom in a little bit to how and why is this important, because it's not necessarily in everyone's day to day, but I think potentially over time, the internet and how the internet operates can change. And then I think blockchain technology has, fantastic opportunity to help Web3 apps like Metaverse and so on to get access to intellectual property data and other data that basically will help to govern and run these services. So that's more kind of on the long term. If I look more short term here and now, it creates fantastic opportunities to rent and buy and sell trademarks and so on, which is super important. Our research shows, market research shows, because young companies today, they have a really hard time even finding a trademark because there's so many trademarks registered. So being able to conveniently rent or license a trademark or buy an already registered trademark will be super important for economic growth, for new companies and brands to launch. And there, I think blockchain can serve an instrumental role in empowering that infrastructure.
Okay, so now looking at it from the blockchain technology, Henrik, when as someone who has been around the blockchain industry, as you mentioned, since 2014, obviously it has evolved substantially. How do you envision that blockchain will or could revolutionize or change or improve the management and the protection of the IP in the next decade, for example?
Yeah, so maybe even though it's been around for some time, maybe people don't understand what is the actual invention around blockchain. And this very much where we started is quite similar to it has a lot of touch points to what we're offering here in the IP rights. And what we started off with thinking, can we do shares on blockchain? And what is the blockchain then? Well, before, if you're trading in shares, you always need to have someone taking control over bid and ask, and basically an exchange in the middle between the buyers and sellers. And that has always been a centralized exchange because there needs to be one truth about the bids and asks and who's involved. So central clearinghouses, central exchanges. But what this technology does is inspired by some technology from Bitcoin. We came up with a new consensus model of having a central place where the information is available, but it's not centralized to a single entity. So you can have several entities that share the same truth in the same time, and it's not a single source of information. So going from a central clearinghouse to a network of nodes, all having the same correct information. And if you do that, there is an opportunity to lower transaction costs by reducing intermediaries, lawyers, brokers, and not only for handling equity, but also for IP rights, to acquire license and enforce IP rights. So, and it also adds transparency because you see what's going on. There's not a single source of truth that is hidden between a centralized clearinghouse or something. It's a shared truth between the nodes. So we add more transparency, and that could be also important to see that you're compensated fairly and that you're evaluating IP in the right way. It's also a global place, so we can see that you can have marketplaces that can be global and with less administrative resources, so lower the entry barriers for people that want to participate in this network and lower transaction costs.
Great. So you mentioned this evaluation of the IP rights, and here I maybe go back to you, Viktor, as someone managing and developed the IP marketplace kind of company as Digip, focusing obviously on the trademarks. Do you see that there is, so to speak, an information asymmetry between how much information the people actually know or how to value their trademark in the first place?
I think for many companies that are outside of like Fortune 500 or publicly listed large cap companies, there's very limited knowledge about exactly how to include the value of brands and so on into the balance sheet and so on. There are of course exceptions with very brand heavy companies, but I think generally speaking the awareness is it's rising, but it's rising from a fairly basic basic level for the smaller medium businesses, and then I think larger companies have a pretty sophisticated idea about it.
And would you say that when it comes to the trademarks in particular, but in general IP rights, that questions of transparency or security are anyhow relevant, and this is something where you see potential pain points in the current systems that have the centralized kind of model, which makes it also often extremely burdensome and cumbersome, both financially but also administratively, to actually be able to profit from your IP?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that's the case, and there's pros and cons to it. So being able to interact with the official trademark office or intellectual property office today, it's kind of gated. You need to be certified to be able to file trademarks or patents and so on and so forth. And the same topic is, the same fact is true for the data and information that you need to build digital services to be able to access data about intellectual property, validate who owns, a trademark or a patent. There's no easy way for an end company to create a service around that. So obviously that creates a bit of a problem in terms of creating very competitive offerings and pushing price down and so on. So there is I don't know, I think security wise it's pretty good, I would say, but I think the challenge is that it's very limited choice for the end customer in what kind of services you can actually get. If you compare to, for example, financial technology, fintech, where in European Union you had a directive that basically opened up financial data for everyone, the level of innovation has been crazy. If you look at the situation around, with the data infrastructure of intellectual property, the same thing hasn't really happened. And it's true, I mean, I think generally for legal tech that the information, access to data is gated, and that limits, opportunity to innovate, and it also limits, choice and offerings for the end customer. Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, reflecting on this, Henrik, and of course the experience that you have had since with the ChromaWay and building and utilizing blockchain for the possibility of trading stocks, or how the companies and stocks are actually exchanged. Do you see here the potential ultimately to disrupt these traditional models of IP ownership and licensing as such?
Yeah, I think this technology, the blockchain technology, provides transparency and also security, that you don't have to trust necessarily counterparties, evaluate them, which opens up to a more secure global exchange of trademarks or information. I mean, in general, it's also a programming model where you can add a lot of data and do new things. So I would say for IP ownership, we can treat it in a new way. Maybe you can have new types of asset representing IP rights and sort of trade them instead, and split up revenue streams, do fractional ownership, licensing arrangements, And these can all be checked with the source code, making sure that it's actually a fair licensing agreement, that everyone gets what they should get, and that there are no errors. So you don't have to trust counterparties that you don't know in other countries or whatever. You can just trust the source code. If you don't know how to evaluate the source code, you can ask someone to do it, or look at what the market thinks about it. So smart contract is one of these texts that can help to enforce usage rights and guarantee fair compensation, but also that you can have more flexible arrangement and decentralized marketplaces and peer-to-peer transactions. So these are all possible using blockchain technology. And our particular blockchain makes it quite easy because it's built like a traditional database. So if you can model something in a database, you can assume that you can do it without technology. So I think it's a great opener for new kinds of inventions in this field.
Mm-hmm. I think, hearing both of you talking about the IP rights and blockchain, and obviously not just the transparency and all these kind of features that the blockchain as technology emphasizes or is actually strong at, but also this trust kind of element that is currently extremely important in the IP. And I wonder whether, and this is maybe a question to both of you, and whoever feels, please take the lead on answering, whether, like one of the possibly unintended effects of utilizing blockchain for both registering, but then also trading or licensing out the IP rights could be actually enhancing the possibility for collaborating. Because if we create a system that is based on trust to greater extent, where people believe that, yes, whatever I contribute to this idea, to this project, to this new venture, there will be, they will be truthfully represented in my ownership, and then subsequent rights connected to the ownership. Could this be also possibly an outcome or undesired or unintended effect of using blockchain for IP?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I think there's an opportunity to, if you really get people to use this, to have more people who actually collaborate using one trademark around the world through renting it or co-owning it or licensing it and so on. And that will surely be needed, because there's no, at least in my opinion, there's no self-evident value in big legal battles about trademarks. It's better if you can, collaborate and build brands, together that multiple businesses can use and grow. And I think that will also goes hand in hand with the emerging creator economy. And I think also it can push a lot of value upstream or downstream, depending on how you see it, to brand creators and branding agencies and so on, because they might just sit and create brands that they can then rent out on the marketplace, and also making it more easy for people who want to start a business basically to tag along and use these brands. That would be very cool if it actually happens. I think it's possible to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I not only hope, I think it can work in that way. And I think maybe that you can also see that there's quite a lot of experiments when it comes to trademark in this industry. I was thinking about the Bored Apes Yacht Club NFTs, where basically anyone can use that brand. So it's a kind of a decentralized brand made from start, and everyone can print it on the t-shirts and so on. But it also has values to people owning these limited edition NFTs. So it's maybe naive and not the perfect way, but there's a lot of experiments going out as well in this industry.
Yeah, and I do think that precisely having a certain, legal protection or tool, how we could actually support this innovation, right? Because the protection of IP rights has been kind of regulated or established the way how we protect patents or trademarks or copyright goes back several, not centuries, but several decades. And the question is, in today's world that is really digital, whether this existing framework that is out there is still applicable, and whether we couldn't rethink it. And I think that, exactly figuring out that there are systems that could decentralize it to some extent, maybe are the way to go forward. But anyway, I think we kind of are out of time, but I wanted to leave maybe few minutes for anyone from the participants if they had any questions. If not, then I have a final one, but I wanted to give the opportunity to anyone if they wanted to ask Henrik or Viktor any question. Just please go ahead, raise hand, and then we'll give you the floor. Okay, it seems that there isn't. So my then kind of last question to each of you, if you could share with us your vision for how the IP marketplace and blockchain technologies could converge in the future in order to create more secure and efficient ecosystem for IP management. Henrik, would you like to start?
Yeah, I think there is something to this global accessibility that we provide, and yeah, basically this whole moment in Web3 is about democratizing the creative industries. We see it in music and in art and so on. So more people can create as equals globally. And maybe also collaborate on feedback about stuff that's happening with the IP rights, and evaluate the quality and so on for assets. And I think Viktor talked about it opening up for innovation, like if we can open up in this way, just like open banking and so on has been happening. I think we can open up a lot of creativity and new ways to use trademarks. So, and other IP rights.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the ideal scenario with this and what really got me going from the start is that, say that I want to start a web shop tomorrow, instead of doing research about a trademark, can I use it, can't I use it, apply for it, maybe wait 6 months until I get it, I hopefully get it registered. I can just go online, click one button, and all of a sudden I'm allowed to use this trademark, and I can go on the Shopify or the Web3 version of Shopify maybe in this forum, and then I can launch my business. And that's just not possible. That's just not possible today, but that can be possible with the launch of this technology, and that can really make things very, very simple, I think, for people who want to launch a new brand, which is cool, I think.
Great. And I think that on this note, actually, we could move forward and introduce to everyone who decided to join and spend their precious time with us. I'm leaving it up to you, Vlad, to take us through the live demo.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hi guys, my name is Vlad. I'm the project owner of the IPR platform in development. As you can see right now, we also use the private public key, but we don't have the registration step yet developed. It will be done by the end of the year, and it will be integrated into the platform. So we can go forward and register as one of our legal entities, the test legal entities, let's say. Wait a bit. Okay, so as you can see, we are registered as as Disney legal entity, and we have a balance of 100 ChromaWay tokens. Here we can see the IPR store. So all the trademarks that are registered inside are imported inside IPR marketplace will be shown here. We can see details about it, and we can also create license request if you want. My trademarks will display own trademarks and the possibility to import a trademark that you own, so it will need to be under Disney legal entity. My license will show you the held license and issued license of your own trademarks. License requests show you filed license requests for trademarks that you are potentially interested into the IPR store, or incoming requests that are made on your license offers. And license offers will show you my license offers, so the license that you are offering for purchase based on your trademark, and other license offers in the whole market. Now let's go and try to search something based on Disney and see how it goes. So we can search by owner name or trademark name, and we can also filter it by owner registration country and trademark registration country. And this is like a version 1 of the searching and filtering, because we also want to add like classes and goods here. Now let's see, we see a potential interesting, let's say Disney owned trademark, and we can import it. Now if we switch to owner trademarks, we can see the Mickey Mouse trademark is already here. We can see his details. It's also registered in Sweden, and the date when the trademark is imported in our platform. Now we can go forward, let's say, and mimic from here the one-step seller flow. So as the owner of the Mickey Mouse trademark, we can go forward and create a license offer here. And as I've stated, we can select the territory on which we want to create this. We can select this type of the license, like standard and exclusive. The difference between them is you can create many standard licenses on a territory, but you can create only one exclusive license per territory. Duration in day, let's say 30 days, 1 month. A simple description like Sweden standard license offer, and the price in Chromia token, I know, like 15 Chromia tokens. Okay, again, let me hit some error. Okay, that was a network error. It's from my network side. So as you can see, the license was created, and it's in the state of created. Now, if we are switching to another legal entity, this time Paramount, we can also go and look into license offers, other license offers. And we can see the filed license that Disney created. We can go forward and say, create a license request, because this is what we want. We are interested in purchasing that license. Now, if you go here, the license request is filled and it's approved by the buyer. And now we switch again to the perspective of the seller, and we go into license requests, incoming license requests, and we see the status of our license request is approved by buyer, and we can reject it, or we can create a license agreement. We go forward and create a license agreement of this. We switch again to the buyer perspective, and we see here that we can, all the things are being approved and the license is created. This is the last status. We can reject it in this step, or we can pay for it. And when we pay, what actually happens, the money transfer is done between the Paramount legal entity and Disney legal entity, and the ownership is done vice versa. So now the owner of Mickey Mouse license is Paramount. And we can certify it by refreshing the page. You see the amount of money is dropped. And if you're going into my license, held license, we can actually see Mickey Mouse here. Now we can mimic the other way around. So this branch, this two-step create license by request. And this will be done like this. We are going into IPR store, and as I've told you, this holds all the information about all the trademarks that are registered or created inside the platform. And I can go forward for create license request. We can select the same territory just for the sake of seeing that we can create many standard license on this part. And let's say it will be created for 1st of January until mid-year, for 5 months. And we can say license request for Mickey Mouse trademark. And we can put like 30 ChromaWay tokens. Yeah, okay, let's refresh to the. Okay, it's here. So we have the Austria side created for half a year for 30 ChromaWay tokens. And the license is filled, and you can also, as a potential requester, you can reject it from start, or you can edit what you've selected here. But we can move into the perspective of the Disney part, and we'll see here in license requests, incoming license requests, you can see the request made by Paramount, and we will have like potential 3 operations that can be made: rejection, acceptance, or edited, because we don't agree with the terms that the buyer stated for us. We'll go forward because we are time pressed by accepting this, and this will move the license into approved by seller. Now, if we switch back into Paramount, we will also need to, sorry, not here. We will also need to approve by the buyer side, because maybe some changes were implemented by the seller, and we have to agree with those. Now the status is approved by buyer. If we switch back into Disney, we can actually create the license based on the terms that were approved between the buyer and seller. And in the end, the last step will be from Paramount to pay and make the money transfer and ownership transfer between the 2 legal entities. And as you can see, now it's 55 ChromaWay tokens, and my license will be, if it works right now, it's Disney, and it has for half a year. Yeah, this is all from the demo. And
thank each of you for joining us. I hope today's demo has sparked some curiosity and excitement about this new product. And it's just the beginning. Please do not hesitate to contact us for any questions, feedback. We'll be in touch with you. Hope that you can help us to gain some market users feedback that could be instrumental for us to develop the product further. And again, thank you for being part of this important milestone in our journey. Have a great day and take care.